Hey Nerwalls, I'm your host Luke Nerwall, and today we'll be reading Former Obese People of Reddit. What did an average day of eating look like for you? And please tap subscribe for more weight loss stories that help you stay on track and to join the Nerwalls. I was 312 pounds, now 143. I didn't really snack during the day, nor did I eat breakfast, and lunch was every other day. I would do the one bite for you, one bite for me thing when feeding the kids sometimes, but that's about it. However, at supper time, oh boy, I could put away a cheeseburger or two, fries, onion rings, mac salad, wings, and about a liter of pop with no issue. I would also eat a bag of chips at night and a few chocolate bars or boxes of Smarties. I drank at least a 2-liter of pop every day, and I don't think I drank anything else for years. And now, I eat lunch and supper most days. I eat plenty of vegetables and limit my pasta. Chips are still my guilty pleasure, but a bag lasts 4 meals now instead of 1. I do miss my pig outs every once in a while, but I can never put away that much food again. I grew up in a family that treated food like sedatives. We ate high carb and high fat meals until we were full, and then we ate some more. After we got our fix, we just vegetate on the couch. I'm 6'2" and was pretty directionless during and for a couple years after high school. I was miserable in my long-term relationship, was depressed, and had PTSD, but didn't know it. The food was my sedation. I was 290 at my highest. Not all that bad, but I had no control, so it had the potential to get worse. Typical meals. Breakfast, 3 to 4 full bowls of Fruity Pebbles or some other garbage. Lunch, 3 McChickens with extra cheese and extra mayo. Dinner, an entire frozen pizza, or a pizza and a half if it was a tombstone, and a whole box of mac and cheese. A midnight snack, a liter plus of chocolate milk, and spoonfuls of peanut butter out of the jar until I literally couldn't eat another bite, and then back upstairs with a gallon of Hawaiian Punch till the sleeping pills kicked in. Fortunately, I've gone on to quit eating like that through self-awareness and dedication. I don't think I'll ever allow myself to go back, and it's been about 8 years, but folks in my family tend to yo-yo, so I stay on top of it when I see myself slipping into old coping mechanisms. I was well above 300 pounds, but I stopped getting on the scale at 300, so I don't know exactly how bad it got. Breakfast was usually something at a drive-thru, McDonald's Egg McMuffin or Carl's Jr. Monster Biscuit, hash browns either way, usually wash it down with a soda. Sometimes if I was in a hurry, it'd be a Snickers and a Pop-Tart with a Dr. Pepper. If I ate lunch, it was a slice of pizza or two or some Chinese takeout, also with the soda. Sometimes I wouldn't eat lunch and just skip to a big dinner. Sometimes it was drive-thru junk food, Jack in the Box bacon ultimate cheeseburger and bacon and cheddar wedges with an Oreo cookie shake and soda, or Carl's Jr. double bacon western cheeseburger with large fries and a soda. Or Burger King, 2 chicken sandwiches and onion rings with a shake. Some nights I'd hit Little Caesars, half a pizza, and crazy bread. And soda. Some nights we go to Denny's or a similar neighborhood type restaurant and they have those big, hefty portions. Thanksgiving style turkey dinner or a big plate of spaghetti and meatballs, patty melt with fries and slaw. Always with a soda and usually dessert, some ice cream, or hit the 7-Eleven and get a candy bar or some other snack. I look at pictures of me when I was like that, and I'm horrified at what I let happen to myself. I'm grateful every day I turn the corner. I am down 85 pounds in the past 8 months, almost to a normal weight, but an example of what a common day included: a 12-count Chick-fil-A nuggets, the grilled chicken club meal large, a medium mac and cheese, and a medium chicken noodle soup. Of course, you can't forget the Chick-fil-A sauces, and that was just for dinner. Throughout the day, I'd eat some Hot Pockets, Uncrustables, frozen corn dogs, or I'd just head over to the corner store and pick up 2 bags of chips with candy of my choice. Sheesh, typing all that out has made me feel disgusting. Glad I'm doing something about it now. Okay, when I was going through a very hard time, I would have a bagel with cream cheese for breakfast, get like Chinese food or sushi for lunch, and then would eat an entire jumbo-sized Hershey bar with almonds, and then come home and make half a box of pasta with tomato sauce, mushrooms, onions, peppers, add mozzarella cheese. After that, I might eat an entire medium-sized bag of potato chips or a bag of microwave popcorn. Sometimes for lunch, I get a big salad, or I'd make rice and a vegetable curry for dinner, and I get a Chipotle burrito for lunch or make chili for dinner. I still drank seltzer water or Diet Coke. What I didn't figure out was that the bagels are high calorie, the candy bar was high calorie, eating a full Chipotle burrito was crazy, eating half a box of pasta was crazy, and then a full bag of potato chips, throw in a cappuccino, and it was like I was eating 7 full meals each day. A typical day in the past was breakfast, 2 sausage, egg, cheese sandwiches, up to 700 calories each, depending on the bread type, 1 liter of soda, at least 1 pastry, usually 2. Lunch, typically a supersized quarter pounder or double quarter pounder meal from McDonald's. Soda was 44 to 64 ounces, so nearly a 2 liter, or a whole pizza. And probably thrown a couple of candy bars or tasty make pies. If I had a sandwich, there would definitely be a bag of chips. Dinner, pretty much what I had for lunch, or if I was on a kick, with a double cheesesteak sub, a hero hoagie with an order of cheese fries, and a 1 liter soda. Usually a pint of Ben & Jerry's at least 3 times a week. When I got a family, I worked a lot of 2 to 11 p.m. shifts, so I wouldn't eat until after work and then go to bed. So I'd get home at 11:30, 12, cram about 2,000 calories in my body, and go to bed at 1 to 3. That's how I got to 450 pounds. I was never morbidly obese, but according to my BMI, I was obese in my high school days, 246 pounds, 6'1". It was not uncommon for me to come home from school and eat an entire 40-count box of bagel bites, wash that down with soda, and then go back to a double packet of ramen noodles and or an ice cream bar. This was all before my parents got home, so I'd have dinner later. It was just disgusting, and I had no self-control. I was also a picky eater, and honestly, I just loved eating greasy, fattening food. I loved it. A few years later, I realized what harm I was doing to my body. Now I'm a vegetarian, I eat a balanced diet, aside from an extra beer or 2 here and there, and I exercise regularly. I'm proud to say I'm healthy, and I've learned a lot along the way. I've always yo-yoed with my weight and depression, but at my heaviest and most, don't GAF. It was a bit messy. Never huge, but definitely uncomfortably fat. Hard for me to tie my shoes, let's put it that way. I guess 16 stone, 224 pounds, maybe edging 17 at one point. I would wake up at about 11, get myself a breakfast burrito, chow down on that while lying down watching whatever, skip second meal, do a liquid lunch, probably 6 beers between 12 to 4 p.m. This would be while walking to the shops, gave no frigs about drinking on the street. Then make a dinner for my family. I would have a bowl of that or 2 and then back to the beer until about 2 a.m. Rinse, repeat every day. I did have to rest that type of eating, and I'm happy to say I'm losing a good amount of weight now. I would like to do more exercise because I used to do more, but I'm hoping to get back to that. I had gastric bypass surgery almost 9 years ago. I'll be honest, I can't even remember how much I used to eat. I just know I grazed on carbs all day long and didn't exercise. I developed a chronic debilitating illness and almost lost all my mobility. If I were to calculate the amount of calories I used to eat, I'd estimate it to be at least 4,000 calories a day, and 80% of it was carbs. Breakfast was a huge bowl of sugary cereal, lunch was always a sandwich and chips, and dinner was meat and 2 sides of a starchy vegetable, plus dessert, and all-day grazing. It's such a 180 from where I am now. I'm down 140 pounds and have maintained that for 6 years. I still have my chronic illness, but it's much better controlled. I went from a size 28 down to a 12 and have had 10 pounds of excess skin removed from my thighs, chest, and abdomen. Honestly, for me, it was a slow progression. It wasn't until I was around 18 that I truly realized how bad it was. Nutrition education in the UK was terrible in the 80s, and it didn't change much when we came to the US. A normal breakfast would be something like a few pieces of toast with jelly, sometimes peanut butter too, or maybe cereal with some sugar sprinkled on top. A mid-morning snack was often a Snickers bar and a Pepsi. Lunch was usually a pretty hefty affair. Maybe a sandwich piled with bologna and Velveeta cheese, a big stack of potato chips on the side, and a few cookies afterward. There was usually an afternoon snack, a bowl of cereal, maybe a candy bar, who knows what. Rarely was it something even remotely healthy. Dinner was often pretty heavy on the carbs too. Lots of pasta or other inexpensive foods, combined with an equally inexpensive but filling bowl of ice cream afterwards. In other words, we ate to get that dopamine hit. Bulk, inexpensive foods were the name of the game. It makes financial sense in a way. We were poor most of my childhood. As our circumstances improved, our diets never really changed. Most of my family wasn't obese at first, we just became like that. My parents didn't really do much to teach us about nutrition or how different foods affected us. My father is one of those people who had a freakish metabolism and could eat anything as much as he wanted without gaining any weight. The rest of us, not so much. I think the only thing that saved any of us was the fact that my parents encouraged youth sports and for us to go outside and play. Long bike rides and activities with friends were the norm until we were in our teenage years when video games took over and we started bulking up. I'm just grateful I escaped the trap relatively young and became educated. Some of my other siblings are not so lucky. A 5'10" male here. I was 280 pounds when I graduated high school. I'm probably about 170 to 180 now, but when I lost weight and was more fit, I was down to 155, 160. Took about 2 years to get to my lowest, which I maintained for many years following. As of late, age and poor eating habits I guess are catching up to me, plus I work an office job so I'm not as active. A typical day, senior year of high school. In the morning before I left, I always made some sort of sausage sandwich. I'd make toast, microwave frozen sausage, throw some cheese on the toast, and ketchup. Eat that on my way to school. Sometimes I'd also bring Pop-Tarts. I had lunch, fourth period. I was poor enough for 25-cent lunches at school, so I always brought lunch, which was always tacos, spaghetti, or pizza with chips, and some other snack like a honey bun. But before this, I'd eat what my dad made me third period and split it with a friend, which was usually a sandwich and some fruit or something. The rest of the school day was foodless. When I got home, I gorged on cookies and milk and whatever chips we had. I gorged because I wanted to eat it before anyone got home because my family would try to help me with my weight, which of course I talked the talk but didn't walk the walk. I delivered pizza a few nights a week, so a garlic knot here, a slice there, throughout the work night. Sometimes I'd have them make me a dish or something, but not usually. I always had garlic knots and pizza for sure. On nights I didn't work, I hung out with a buddy where we usually went to Wendy's or McDonald's and hung out in the parking lot. I'd get home and dinner my mom had made would be there. She'd make sure it was ready and all I had to do was heat it up. This was any normal dinner from any normal home, very day to day, and then I'd top it off with cookies and or ice cream in bed. This was every single day, not to mention any snacks or candy that may have crossed my path throughout the day. Well, one day, about a month after graduation, me and my friend decided to go on a diet and we helped each other stay disciplined throughout. A lot of people from high school did not recognize me still to this day, over 10 years later. All I did was change my eating habits and try to do some cardio exercises every day, and it worked, even through college. And that brings us to the end, Narwhals. Please tap subscribe for more weight loss stories that help you stay on track and to join the Narwhals. And lastly, here's our featured Narwhal of the Day. Weekly weigh-in, starting weight 235 pounds, current weight 209.2 pounds, first goal weight 180 pounds.